Hello everyone, my name is Nicola Ciavatti and I am a PhD student at the Department of Neuroscience, Biomedicine and Movement at the University of Verona. Today I am going to present my research project entitled Isolating the Temporal Dynamics of Visual Awareness by Means of an Airport Paradigm. My research falls within the field of cognitive neuroscience, which studies the biological processes that underlie human cognition. Essentially, what we aim to understand is how different brain structures and brain activities allow us to perform a complex tasks such as reasoning through problems, recalling memories, or perceiving the world. What I focus on is visual awareness, the subjective experience of seeing something which can later be reported, memorized, or forgotten. It is the moment when we truly become conscious of what we are perceiving as the brain assigns meaning to visual inputs. An example of this process is when we look at clouds. At first, they seem like random shapes, but sometimes, suddenly, we might recognize the outline of an animal or a face. Our brain does this process constantly, transforming ambiguous shapes into familiar objects and assigning meaning to what we perceive. Understanding how and when this happens lies at the core of my research. To tackle this question, we will use a special kind of visual stimuli, moon images, like the one shown here. These are ambiguous black and white images whose content is initially hard to interpret. However, after observers are exposed to the original disambiguated version, they can then recognize the moon instantly when I see it again, as it's no longer an abstract shape but something meaningful. This is the moment when visual awareness occurs, and our aim is effectively to isolate the brain activity linked solely to this moment of awareness, separating it from other neural processes. To achieve this aim, we will use a technique called electroencephalography or EEG that can record the electrical activity generated by the brain. EEG is particularly well suited for our study because it has a fine-grained temporal resolution, allowing us to capture the fast neural dynamics of visual awareness. Specifically, we are interested in the event-related potentials, which are changes in electrical activity that are synchronized or time-locked to sensory or cognitive events. As shown in the graph on your right, a earpiece consists of both positive and negative deflections, often referred to as peaks or components. To identify which of these temporal EEG components are specifically related to visual awareness, it's crucial to make sure that no other cognitive functions are involved during the awareness task. And this is why we will implement a no-report paradigm, which means that we will not ask the participants to report their subjective experience of the moon. The act of reporting, whether verbally or by pressing a button, brings in additional cognitive processes like decision making, working memory, or response execution, which can interfere with the EEG signal we want to isolate. By using moon stimuli, we can already determine whether a participant is unaware or aware of the meaning of an image without needing explicit responses. Because we already know at which phase awareness occurs, which is when the image Mooney is presented after the original version. The preliminary results of our behavioral pilot experiment are promising, and I hope I will be able to show you our EEG results in the next presentation. In conclusion, by using this no-report paradigm, we could advance our scientific understanding of consciousness by isolating brain activity tied directly and solely to visual awareness. And from a clinical perspective, developing no-report paradigms could help in the assessment of disorders of consciousness, such as coma or vegetative state, where patients are unable to communicate. By detecting EEG patterns linked to awareness without requiring verbal or motor responses, this approach can improve how we assess and diagnose these patients, offering a more accurate picture of their consciousness. I want to thank you for your attention and express my gratitude to my supervisor, tutor, and colleagues of Panda Lab for supporting me during this year. Thank you again, and goodbye.